How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome to Muv-Luv Monday. I guess welcome back might be a bit premature. You might be coming to this channel for the first time, having, gone down the rabbit hole of Muv-Luv, I'm guessing. Well, welcome to the channel and welcome to the start of this series. You need to understand, if you are new to the Muv-Luv universe of any sort, which is visual novels, you might have seen the anime, you might have read some of the manga, you might have just been perusing around looking for something fun to watch. I'm happy you found me, but this is part of a large series. Like, the Muv-Luv universe canonically is equivalent of many novels, really. And this is one of many novels, and specifically, as the title might denote, it's Unlimited the Day After. The core Muv-Luv is Muv-Luv Extra, Muv-Luv Unlimited, Muv-Luv Alternative. This is assuming that you have read through Extra and Unlimited, and probably Alternative, because I'll likely make references to that, because I have finished those. If for some reason you found this and you are not sure what the heck I'm talking about, this is a bit early. I'll have like a link up in the corner, but or in the description, but ultimately you want to be looking for Muv-Luv Extra, Unlimited, and then Alternative. That's really where you should be starting all of this. Well, okay, kind of like the Fate universe, you can technically start in a lot of different places, but you really should be reading those before you get to this part of the Muv-Luv universe. And I frankly think that Extra, Unlimited, and Alternative are like the best places to start for all this, but it's worth the ride, so I highly recommend you do it. I've covered all of them on the channel, so if you want to watch me play through them, I would love it if you join me for those. They're really, really fun, and you get to see a me from a few years ago. A lot's changed. I lost a lot of weight. It's actually kind of cool because you get to see that change that happens in me over there, so hopefully you enjoy that. If you can forgive my terrible reading. When I started this series, I just started my coverage of visual novels and was not used to reading Japanese names at all. I'm still bad at it, but I was really bad then, so please be patient with me there. But anyway, now that's all aside, anyone else who's still remaining, I'm guessing you know why you're here and you've been excited for this. Thank you so much, and thank you for your patience. If you didn't realize, I was supposed to come out with this last week, had some horrific technical difficulties where whenever I started up this game, the audio card in my computer would start hemorrhaging and it would threaten to kill my computer because it sounded like a train was trying to run through the audio. But after some trial and error and a lot of troubleshooting with the community, we were able to find a solution. It was accidental, but it seems that my surround sound headphones program, like the program that does all the sound distribution, just really doesn't like this game. And I found that in my brief tests of Project Mikhail, it's the same problem. So I think it has something to do with whatever the core programming they're using, like whatever they're using, like something about it just doesn't mesh well with my PC. But that's okay. I'm just down to the dongle headphones again. So, yeah, I'll miss the very intimate voice work because sometimes it got real personal up and close. But I'm sure it'll be just fine. And yeah, we're gonna jump into this. So I don't really know anything at all about this except for, again, this is post Unlimited timeline. So this is like, if I'm right, this is like post Alternative 5. So the Alternative 5 mission gets greenlit, 4 gets canceled. They take the seed of humanity, send them away, and then whoever is left is going to try and do a very desperate retake of Beta territory, but being able to throw all they have at it, because even if they fail, there's the hope that humanity continues to exist in another part of the galaxy. So yeah, let's just jump into this. I'm sure it's not going to be horrifically traumatizing in any way. Let's get started. Alternative 5. The fate of all mankind rests on the success of this military operation, the largest in human history. After the relentless 30-year-long struggle against the Beta, humanity has been driven into a corner. With no options left and desperate for survival, mankind has decided to abandon the planet Earth while launching a final counteroffensive. Man. Operation Babylon. While most of the human race would stay behind, hundreds of thousands of hand-picked representatives were chosen to be part of the immigration fleet. Its sights set on Bernard star system, 5.9 light-years away in the constellation of Ophiuchus. The fleet hopes to continue humanity's history beyond the stars. Without hope in our hearts, the travelers sail in the abyss, believing a new Earth to settle awaits them at the very end of their long voyage. Can you imagine being left behind, too? With unwavering faith, they wait for news of mankind's victory and to hear humanity has reclaimed its dominion over the blue sphere we call home. And so their voices rise as one, wistfully staring at the light of a faraway star. They sing a song that echoes through the depths of space. A song of distant Earth. God, it's already heartbreaking, isn't it? I'm already like getting all emotional. "5 days before the day, Wednesday, 2004, February 18th.
移民船団指揮官マルドゥークの GS 機関起動を確認。全移民船団は重力勾配工法に入りました。
Alright.
移民船団指揮官マルドゥークより入電。工法開始直前の発信です。人類の勝利と地球の再興を祈る。遥か宇宙の深淵を超え、互いの商法を伝え合わんことを。返信なさいますか？
以降の返信が彼らに届くのは何年後だ？
重力勾配航行に入った場合、通信は双方向ともに非常に困難かつ不安定です。期間周期によって数ヶ月後から数年後までの幅があります。
So a lot of this technology, remember, is based off of G matter, which is some of like the really exotic, unknown matter that the beta brought. By harvesting it, we've been able to make technology like we never could have possibly conceived of before. But it looks like it has some problems.
最も確実なのは、船団が目的地に到着するその時。地球時間において約60年後になります。
Dang.
ならば、今送信する必要はあるまい。5.9 光年、54年後の返信で十分だ。こちらからのお別れはすでに告げてある。
は、
互いの商法か。分の悪い賭けに乗せられた側の最後の強がりといったところだな。
Yeah. It's really like to anyone who's left behind and is perceptive, like they'll tote it as a champion of a championship of like of hope and stuff, but like ultimately it's an ultimatum really. And it's an opportunity for people to give their all and see what happens. My hair looks weird. I don't know what's going on with it.
北米航空宇宙防衛司令部より国連統合参謀会議へ。マルドゥークはバビロンの鍵を得たり。
了解。マルドゥークはバビロンの鍵を得たり。繰り返す。マルドゥークはバビロンの鍵を得たり。
I mean, I'm happy, but sad.
諸君、いよいよだ。人類は間もなく勝利し、この地球は再興する。60年後ではなく、数年以内にな。
Right.
54年後。彼らに送り届けようではないか。この美しき地球の姿を、緑あふれるユーラシアを。
司令、国連統合参謀会議より返電。バビロンの扉は開かれり。
Open the gates of Babylon.
貴様。
Here we go.
現時刻をもってバビロン作戦を発動する。
The 91st day after the day. Okay, so 91st day after the day, Monday 2004, May 24th. Okay. The world stands still. Once again, I soar beneath the unchanging skies.
Alright.
With some more Kabuki styles, if I'm correct.
ナイブス1、了解。減速を開始する。即地準備に入れ。
ナイブス2了解。
Alright, interesting. Wonder if this is actually our main character or not. Smooth and gentle does it. Excellent. No problems so far.
第一光学映像記録完了。GPS 照合に回します。元の座標電波じゃ深海線。
The seabed, but it's like on the surface or what? Whoa, whoa. There's like... Oh, okay. That's how you access the menus.
ナイブス1、了解。こちらも記録を完了した。誤差はないようだ。
Interesting. Yeah, so from what I read, and part of the reason why we were having issues is it looks like they've designed this to be compatible with mobile devices. Like instead of having to port it, it's designed from the ground up to be on PC, probably PlayStation, Switch, and mobile. And so that's probably why I can access from the sides like this. But anyway, I digress. It still looks fantastic, actually.
悪くない飛び方だったな、ウィル。滑らかに穏やかに。
So Will.
女を扱うように優しくするんだ。貴様のようなガサツなタイプは女にも戦術機にも嫌われるぞ。
Thanks for the advice, Lieutenant. I'm doing a bang-up job out here, and she's still treating me like I'm some pimple-faced kid. Story of my life.
了解です。マクマナス注意。注意を扱うように丁寧に心がけます。
Hey, that was a solid response.
なんだ？人をしたらご褒美が欲しいのか？
Like you'd ever give me the chance.
謹んで遠慮申し上げます、マミ。
Oh.
いい返事だ、ウィル。よくわかったよ。お前が全くわかっちゃいないってことがね。
Alright. I like the art style. Can't say I'm a fan of mindless small talk, but this sort of mission is so tedious. I'll take any distraction I can get.
にしても、こっちも変わり映えしない光景ですね。わかっちゃいましたが、その。
An endless coastline and salt flats that stretch out forever, a world that is utterly devoid of any trace of human civilization. It's a depressing sight, no two ways about it.
おやおや、泣き言には早すぎだね、少尉。
泣き言ではありません。感想です。
ほう。このダリル姉さんに向かって言うじゃないか。
上官への正しい助言は部下の責務であります。マミ。
I like Will. He and I have similar strokes. Like, well, not like I've had superiors to talk to, but like, I've found that I'm pretty good at thinking on my feet, especially in very unrealistic settings. So, hooray for me!
やれやれ。何を期待してたか知らないが、私は何も変わらん方が安心するね。すべては予想の範疇内。慣れてよはこともなしってな。
That's true, but if there were a laser out here, you wouldn't be able to see it fast enough, I think.
しかし、お前のセリフもわからんでもない。最近はお船も網にかからんが、これっきりで打ち止めとは思いたくないからね。
諦めたくないんですよ。俺はま
だ。誰も諦めたくないさ。だからこそ、私らはここにいる。でも忘れるんじゃないよ。
I'm really
無
curious
事に
what
帰
they're...
るのも任務だよ。
I don't know what we're doing out here, but I really want to know. Like why are they looking for something? Like, what are they trying to find?
はい、マム。もちろんです。
I do want to go back home in one piece, but I still can't help wishing our recon flights were less eventful sometimes, uneventful sometimes. Gosh, slaughtered that. Not to say I intend to go out of my way looking for trouble. I'm frustrated, not suicidal. It's just that in a world of nothingness, finding someone would make all the difference.
GPS 照合完了。マップデータ更新。精度問題なし。転送します。
更新確認。こちらも異常なしだ。オートマッパーができて随分楽になったもんだ。メルビナ様々だ。写真並べてお絵描きするのはもううんざりだからね。
Okay, I bet. Matching the marked coordinates with the images caught by the optical camera after returning to base, drawing a map of the never-ending coastline by hand. It's the closest thing to torture.
メルはすごいやつですよ。あり合わせていろいろ組み上げるのが本当うまい。数字に強いってのはインド系の血のなせる技ってやつですかね。
Interesting.
そこは関係ないだろうと言うべきとこだが、ありえん話でもないな。少なくともそう思わせるように振る舞ってる。
Hey, you know, results are results. You don't have to be wanting to be seen as a crack engineer. If you can do stuff that's like saving time, like, and like making things like more accurate, like that's a net win in every regard.
オージーとインドも複雑だしね。そう見られた方が彼女にとって得なんだろうよ。
Okay, so there's some issues for her and her families, maybe because a lot of them likely immigrated to Australia. Australia has taken in many refugees from India, but they're being treated just as bad as those who sought asylum in the United States. Actually, it's even worse over there. The Australian government wants to put the most talented refugees to work, but deep-seated racism is a barrier that can't be overcome overnight.
人間追い詰められると縄張り意識が強くなるっていうか。んなもん気にしてもどうしようもないんだけどね。もう。
Kind of crappy still.
そうですね。皮肉な話です。
よし、そろそろ設置ポイントだ。この地形なら少し内陸に寄せるべきか。内部2、続け。
Unknown area, interesting.
内部2、了解。
オーケー、この辺りにするぞ。
That's very happy music for something like this. The bedrock seems to be stable, and the terrain is right for the device too.
中継機下ろせ。慎重にやんな。メルの薄い胸を撫でるように、ジェントルにだ。痛くするなよ。
Okay. I don't know how to take you seriously.
手元狂わす気満々じゃないですか。だいたい作戦中ですよ、注意。レコーダー回ってるんですから。
なんだ、まだやってなかったのか？童貞かお前。
Gosh darn it.
そんな関係じゃないです。疑われたら彼女に迷惑ですよ。
別にメルが聞いているわけじゃあるまいし。US マリーンがこれぐらいで動じるな。
Okay, so we're full on American source, like soldiers now, huh? Always a walking HR nightmare, this one. Good thing our conversation won't reach Mel. I'd be a dead man if she heard.
俺どうした？復唱しろ、ウィル少尉。
はい、マム。同日、ジェントルに設置します。
Hi. I wonder if Lieutenant Rosenberg also had to put up with her antics all the time. Okay. Am I not gonna see anything? Is it just gonna be the sky and this crashes?
スパイク打ち込み確認。固定完了です。アンテナ伸長。システムチェック開始。
了解。こっちでも軌道を確認した。何かしら拾ってくれりゃいいけどね。
What are we looking for?
世の中なべてこともなしじゃなかったんですか？
そりゃ設置するまでの話だ。わざわざ推進剤吹かして据え付けたんだ。当たりを引きゃネイビーの連中にも顔が立つ。違うかい？
俺はもちろんそう思ってますよ。
All it takes is a single hit for this dull mission to pay off. That's why we carry these relays and hope for the best, because if we find something, it would be more than worth the effort. The U.S. Marine Corps TSS Squadron VMF 318 Black Knives never gives up.
まったく、ステイツの正規母艦様がこんなものに頼らなきゃいけないとはね。
低軌道衛星がなきゃどうしようもないですよ。GPS が生きてるだけマシです。
Yeah. Surveying uncharted lands like we're some sort of old school explorers. See the world, they said. Well, Captain, there ain't no crap to see around here.
母艦の静止衛星リンク。メルは何か言ってないのかい？
さすがにメルもうちの装備になると関与できないみたいですから。
Yeah, I imagine it's tough to get like access to any satellites because the few that are up there are probably very high demand. Not when the carrier's equipment is a treasure trove of classified information. Official U.S. policy states nobody from the UN forces, and in our case, anyone from the Australian Navy, is to lay a finger on the JFK's equipment. Okay. So these guys are Australian, but they were part of the UN and are operating with a lot of U.S. Navy. That makes... Okay, gotcha. Just like real life. Much more confusing. Blows my mind, Command, still being so stubborn, even knowing we could use all the hands we can get.
噂を聞く限りだと、あれは技術士官総出で取り組んでも無理だそうですよ。
技術の方は特に人手が足りないしね。ああも派手にへし折れてりゃ当然か。アイランドが陸のアイランドってのは胸くそ悪い冗談だな、ウィル。
Okay.
ねえ、寝て覚めて冗談だったらと思わない日はないですよ。
The island is one of the ship's command centers, where the bulk of our radar and communication antennas are located. Now that it's Fubar, the data link isn't functioning correctly. And just as a result, we have to work ourselves to the bone. And as far as jokes go, this one's a killer. The most literal sense of the word. You need to find something. Anything.
起動完了しました。交代機モードで中継開始しま。
Oh, that's exciting.
隊長、これってまさか。
ビンゴだ、ウィル。本当に一発で拾ったぞ。よーし、上出来だ。座標が入ってる。
Seems the only information the distress signal carries is a rescue request and some GPS coordinates.
こちらからのコールは受信しないようです。自動ビーコンです。
Whatever, we need to investigate this right now. Alright.
十分航続圏内だな。行ってみりゃわかる。
Right. Let's go. Heck yeah, we're doing this.
ナイブス1よりソルティベース。聞こえるかい？
ソルティベースよりナイブス1。感度良好。
中継機 E7 の設置を完了。直後に救難信号を受信した。繰り返す。救難進出可能半径内につき、ナイブス両機による直接確認の許可を願う。
了解。こちらでも E7 経由で信号を受信。座標も確認した。
ナイブス1了解。急いで頼むよ。ウィル、発進準備だ。
了解。
It's a waste of time. Of course they're going to say yes.
ソルティベースよりナイブス1。ナイブス両機による直接確認を許可する。生きていれば1ヶ月ぶりの朗報だ。頼むぞ。
So apparently Babylon didn't go well because if the past month after the incident things are going this is the first they've had good news. There we go.
ナイブス1了解。頼まれたよ。
There we are.
いつでも行きます。
オーケー。焦ってアンテナ蹴倒すんじゃないよ。
Oh, fun. It would be so fun to pilot a TSF. Oh, God, I hope we find Survivor.
ナイブス1よりナイブス2。ウィル、念のために言っておく。過剰な期待をするんじゃないよ。
Yeah.
ナイブス2了解。
She's not wrong. It's just a beacon. Shouldn't be surprised if it turns out to be nothing but an automated distress signal. Maybe we'll only get to recover some poor guy's remains, but that wouldn't even be the worst case scenario, like finding a whole empty ship drifting ashore with a crew missing. Enough of that. Stop expecting the worst. Don't jinx it. All I want is to find a survivor. How the heck could that be asking for too much? Hopefully you don't find Beta.
そろそろ直接更新圏内のはずだ。一旦コード上げるよ。呼び出しを続けな。
了解。
Never get used to this altitude. Even today, I still feel my stomach, my butthole clench. Back when the laser clash was still a threat, it was a suicide to fly this high. Nowadays, you're supposed to fly at this altitude, even outside of training exercises. Increase your height, and the horizon will stretch out further. It's an easy way to improve our communication range, and the only one we have these days.
相手が出たら得意のジョークを披露しとけ。
了解。って隊長、ジョークは召喚の得意とするところではありませんが。
お前の得て増えてなんざ聞いてないんだよ。大真面目な話だ。みな。 信号強度から見てもでかい船じゃない。救命ボートか何かだ。
Right.
そういうことですか。了解。
分かったか。行ってみな。
はい。
相手はごく少数、あるいは単独。何日、いや何週間孤立してたかも不明。音声が途切れればそれだけで不安を与えると思われます。
Oh yeah. Like I've ever been in a shipwreck myself, it doesn't take a genius to imagine it'd be a rather stressful experience. And if they haven't had much food or water, because I mean, if they're sitting in the middle of a giant salt bank, they can't have much easy access to clear water. So if they haven't had much water or food, then and they're still alive, they'll likely be delirious and probably unresponsive, honestly. But if they are responsive, they might sound really weird or really crazy because they are so close to death. You need to keep a conversation going. That's emergency response 101. Don't stop talking, not even for a second.
そういうことだ。一発で正解ならリコリスキャンディーをくれてやったのにな。
Ugh. Keep it. There's no need to play 20 questions, but I guess this is the commander's way of telling me I still have much to learn.
面目ありません。音声通信を開始します。
Please, someone respond.
こちらアメリカ海兵隊第3一亜種戦術歩行戦闘機体ブラックナイブス。救難信号を受信しました。聞こえていたら応答願います。
So they are part of the United States Marine Corps. I wonder if the U.S. just absorbed the rest of the world. I mean, that's kind of what Yuko Sensei predicted would happen.
こちらアメリカ海兵隊第3一亜種戦術歩行戦闘機体ブラックナイブス。救難信号を受信しました。聞こえていたら応
No response. We should be well within communication range at this point. Maybe whoever sent the signal isn't replying because they're unconscious?
繰り返します。こちらアメリカ海兵隊第318戦術歩行戦闘機体ブラックナイブス。救難信号を受信しました。聞こえてい
Fetch. I really don't want it to be an unmanned boat. Please, someone answer me.
どうしたここ第26
Holy crap. Holy crap!
アイブス2よりナイブス1音声に反応あり。続けます。こちらアメリカ海兵隊第318戦術歩行戦闘機隊所属機。聞こえています。繰り返しお願いします。
Ho 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 ho.
だ救命攻撃あの画像は
Uh-oh. Hang on. This might be a recorded distress message. Holy crap, she's still alive, and she seems to be in a decent physical condition, stable enough to disclose her affiliation and coordinates at the very least. Okay, let's do this.
音声が不明瞭ですが、そちらの座標は確認しています。現在接近中。引き続きこのチャンネルで続けてください。
了解あら医療急いただいま
無線がだいぶへばってるね。こりゃ相当運のいいお嬢ちゃんだ。今日逃してたら発見できなかったかもしれない
But
よ。
that's if she's there. I'm still nervous she's not there.
こっちもあっちもラッキーですよ。生きてさえいれば助けられる。
Yeah. I used to think that all we've been doing these past few days was nothing, but now all of our hard work will pay off. Anyway, time to focus. I need to ensure this rescue operation is a success.
当機は現在もそちらに接近中。少尉、その場所に留まっていてください。
第26
Wait, I'm sure I've heard that part before. And right after that, she said her name.
大将は繰り返し名乗りを入れてきています。こっちの声も聞こえてるはずなんですが。
Crap, I think I'm right.
当然向こうにすりゃ最後の瞬間まで本当に会合できるか分かったもんじゃないんだよ。
Yeah. If she's been drifting for weeks, other distant ships must have passed her by at this point without noticing her lifeboat.
万が一を考えりゃせめて名前だけでもってことさ。ビルボもう少し女心を勉強しな。
こういうのに女も男もないでしょ。
だったらなおさらだな。名前ってのはそういうもんさ。
了解です。
I see her point, but there's no way I'm going to settle for learning nothing but her name. I'll save her. I don't care what it takes, I'll save her.
少尉、まもなくそちらに到着します。このまま通信を。
There she is.
対象を望遠で確認。そっちはどうだい？
Holes cut into it. but it's on the surface, so that's a good sign.
こちらでも確認しました。
I'm not sure what that discoloration, hopefully that's just from the pod, but she's got to be on that lifeboat. And I see she's used marking paint. Good thinking. Sure, she's on land, but anything that makes it easier to navigate this area helps.
素晴らしいね。お待ちかねの変わり映えする眺めじゃないか。
最高ですよ。誰かがまだ生きている。これ以上の話はない。
She's alive. As long as that's the case, she has a fighting chance. The rest is up to us.
いいセリフだ、ウィルバート。着陸するぞ。
Come on, be careful.
一旦海上に出てから右旋回。一度フライパスして周囲を確認する。ジェット氷を当てんじゃないよ。距離100で着地。視脚歩行接近。
内部数了解。距離一丸丸で着地。視脚歩行にて接近します。
Remember, focus. Getting a read on the terrain and situation is TSF piloting 101. The Earth isn't exactly stable these days. The ground where their lifeboat has drifted ashore could fall into the sea as soon as my TSF lands. All the more reason to be careful. This place kind of looks like a beach, so I'm 99% sure it'll be fine, but I'll be damned if I screw this up because of some rookie mistake. Yeah? Yeah? Holy crap, yeah, she's just there. There's a survivor. Holy crap, a real survivor. And she's in TSF armor, too. Dang. It's freaking impressive.
内部1よりソルティベース。対象を発見した。乗員数名規模の救命艇の模様。また目視で船外に生存者1名を確認した。これより保護する。
This could be a clever way for the writer to tell us like what's happened though, is like as they explain it to her. Good writing, good thinking.
ソルティベースよりナイブス1。生存者確認了解。引きの強さはさすがだな。
Yeah.
任せときな。帰ったらあんたもカードでむしってやるよ。
Looks like the survivor's still strong enough to leave the boat. She's worse for the wear, of course, but her condition doesn't seem that serious. I've seen the lieutenant's luck in action before, but it doesn't get any less surprising. It really is her doing. She just pulled off a miracle.
ビル、降りたらファーストエイドキットを用意。サバイバルから緊急用輸液も出しときな。
She's on her feet though. That's likely not necessary.
了解。
But better safe than sorry. Weird. Holy crap.
大丈夫ですか?
What? What?
ってなんてこった。海兵隊員じゃないか。
U.S. Marine, too. I can scarcely believe it. This is a never-ending sea. The one person we managed to stumble upon is another Marine. Found another lucky star in my butt. This kind of thing's downright supernatural.
マリーンだって?おやまあ本当だ。マリーンで、しかも英士かい。神の導きも捨てたもんじゃないね。
Big Mama's over the moon. She's not the only one. The Marine Corps is like a band of brothers and sisters. She's like family to us.
ありがとうございます。私は
Yeah, she sounds really out of it.
おい。
ああ、そのまま座ってな。無理するんじゃないよ。強化装備のバッテリーはさすがに切れてるね。お嬢ちゃん、何しみたい?
I forgot. Fortified suits actually help with replenishing and like recycling of like liquids and food and stuff.
漂流してからは5日目で水分は十分取ってると思います。
Maybe you've had enough of the water, but probably not enough in you. 5 days. As long as she'd had enough water to drink, her life shouldn't be in danger. That's good.
ちょっと待ってな。今こっちのスーツとつなぐからね。
Yeah.
すみません。
いいんだよ。この広い海のど真ん中でマリーンのお仲間に出会えたんだ。感謝ならマリア様にしときな。
I feel like that would be me. Like literally probably days from death, and I'd still be apologizing for the inconvenience. Is she cold? Sun's blazing down on us, but she's still shaking slightly. Maybe she's come down with a fever?
注意。毛布出しておきますか。
今体温を調べてる。 どっちにしても強化装備を戦術機につないでやる方が早いだろう。
Right.
バイタル、そっちにも回すよ。軽く発熱してるか。けどこの程度なら感染症の心配はなさそうだね。
Good. Seems I was right. Good thing it's not too serious. Because I have no idea what we could have possibly done in that case. I don't know, get her out of here?
ウィル、輸液はいいからドリンクパックよこしな。
Got it.
はい。どうぞ飲まれますか。
いただきます。ありがとう。
簡易バイタルチェックをかけてるけど外傷もないみたいだし、気管まで差し迫った問題はなさそうね。
Good, good.
よかった。もう大丈夫ですよ。リリア。
I couldn't quite catch her last name.
第26海兵戦術機構軍所属リリア・シェルベリ少尉です。座ったまま失礼します。
Kjellberg. Sounds like she's, if she's not direct descendant of Swedish blood.
第318海兵戦術機隊イルバート・コリンズ少尉です。
Nice.
同じくラリル・マクマナス中尉だ。今は2人ともネイビーの第3母艦好きだけどね。
第3母艦ジョン・ F ・ケネディ。はあ、助かった。
Why that? Yeah, I wonder about that. Anyone would think everything's going to be just dandy after hearing you're being picked up by a United States TSF carrier. And to be fair, she'd be right any other time. As things stand, though, she's only half right.
そっちの第26ってことはフィリピンからかい？船は？
Yeah, what happened?
そうだ。こんな話してる場合じゃ。
Uh-oh. What?
すみません。捜索隊の手配お願いします。他にも救命艇が脱出してるはずなんです。
So what happened? Whoa there, cowboy. She's crazy. She thinks we could just summon a search party out of thin air.
だから無理するなって言ってるだろう。一体どうしたんだい？
船はネイビーのシアトルで脱出してたんですが、機関部をやられて漂流してたんです。
Oh, that's not good.
補給艦でしたから物資には困らなかったんですが、5日前に嵐で。
Gotcha. Alright. That's not good. Talk about how the frying pan to the fire. She'd already been drifting for so long, and then a storm? Gosh darn it.
もともと浸水区画が多かったんで、許容力を超えたんだと思います。それで一気に浸水が進んで。
And if it was like cargo ship, it might, or even if it was being used as a cargo ship, it also probably was an older vessel.
とっさに強化装備を掴んで救命艇に飛び乗るのがやっとで。
And actually, if it's the Seattle, now if I remember correctly, Seattle sounds like it was following the naming system. Yeah, I want to make sure she said Seattle. Okay. Yeah, USS Seattle. Okay. So if that naming system is holding to traditional, Seattle likely sounds like what you would give as a name for a destroyer class if it was part of the US Navy. Destroyer classes would be fairly small, and it's also part of the naming system that went around and was typically around like World War II era. A lot of those destroyers are still floating. In fact, you can see several of them at a lot of like aquatic marine museums, like they become museums or are part of museums. I think there's some in New York City, Washington DC I think's got some too, and I know that there's some on the West Coast as well. So if it was a repurposed destroyer from World War II era that had been recommissioned to be a supply ship, likely to have its armaments taken away except for maybe some basics, and it was being sent around, you're talking about an old ship, a ship that's been in military service like pretty much ceaselessly since the beginning of the Beta invasion. So a ship that old, even if with the best upkeep manageable, but being lower priority because it's a transport vessel rather than like a military vessel, I could see it just being neglected too far, and thus having a cascading issue like this would be not expected, but eventually inevitable, unfortunately. Glad you fortified soon jumped on a near lifeboat.
でも他にも何隻かボートが展開したのは目撃してるんです。 他の救命艇はすぐに離れてはぐれてしまいましたけど。
She's right. A supply ship need to be equipped with multiple lifeboats, no matter how small it is. Even so, I can't share her optimism.
お願いです。今から捜索すればきっとまだ。
We gotta get you to safety first and foremost. We can get information from you, and hopefully, if we can expand the search from there. That's what I would say if I could. It's better to let the commander break the bad news to her. Should be easier to accept the truth when it's coming from a superior officer.
すまないんだけどね。捜索隊は出せないんだよ。
Not at all?
私らの推進剤もそろそろ余裕がない。今日はお嬢ちゃんを乗せて戻るのがやっとなんだよ。
ああ。
だったら簡単に連絡して捜索隊を。
母艦に報告は入れてるよ。今頃向こうでも検討はしてるだろうさ。気持ちはわからないでもないが、今はあんたの体の方が心配だ。
There's a lot more going on that I don't understand. It's obviously adding to like the decision here.
私なら大丈夫ですから。
She's being stubborn. I really can't blame her. Just think about it. Rescued by a carrier TSF detachment when your friends are still out there? It's only natural to get your hopes up. But reality is going to come crashing down on her sooner or later. It's about time I say my piece.
母艦の方でもそう簡単に戦術機を出すわけにはいかないんだ。
どうして？同じマリーの命がかかってるんですよ。関西ヘリとか近隣の基地に要請とかいろいろ。
Fair, but where are we?
ヘリはもうないし、要請もできない。
What is happening to the military?
そんな、だって JFK は。
Yeah, what is going on? She deserves to hear the whole story. Please!
漂流の身なのさ。シェルベリ少尉よりははるかにマシだろうけどね。
What happened?
嘘。じゃあ、まさか。
As soon as she saw a glimmer of hope, the commander and I smashed it to a million pieces. I can't even begin to imagine how painful that must be. But at the very least, her life isn't in danger anymore. I hope that counts for something.
よくやったよ。あんたは仲間の分まで生き抜いたんだ。ここからすぐのところに中継機も設置してある。ここらに救命艇が近づけば確実に拾えるから安心しな。
どういうことですか？中継機？
輸送艦に乗ってたなら、あの時から通信障害には気づいてただろう。あれは今も続いてるんだ。
Holy crap. So, oh, I bet you it's EMP burst. Okay, so I don't know what Babylon was, but I got an inkling of it based on what we saw on Unlimited. Effectively, the plan was to, like, send a seed of humanity off and then bomb the crap out of all beta hives at the same time. Literally, like, from orbit, dropping, like, G-bombs and nukes and everything, just pummeling the planet and trying to just scour it of all beta. And the reason why people were against that was because they believed that such detonations was going to super cook the planet, as in like sea levels being evaporated, and then like the caps melting and flooding the planet. We're talking like irreparable damage. So like, yeah, we kill the beta, but there's just nothing left. And that's not even like the far-reaching complications. Nobody knows what was going to happen, but it was like, we got to do something, because otherwise we're just going to get strangled out. And if that's what they did, then maybe those bombs, especially that magnitude going off, sent out a high impact EMP burst, which is an actual effect of real like nukes going off. It's where you get an electrostatic supercharging wave that emanates from the point of detonation, especially with fusion based detonations. And what happens is, okay, so I'm going to go into the science here real quick. So from what I understand, what happens effectively from an EMP burst, it is a cloud of hypercharged electron particles, or electron carriers, I guess you could say, that emanates from the explosion. They're just hypercharged. And so what happens is that this field emanates through, passes through a lot of, not everything, but a lot of structures like walls and buildings and cars and everything. Now, all our technology, all of our electronics operate off of on and off signals of power. You know, like you send a circuit of energy through, like to get a light bulb, you send energy through a circuit, and it like heats up the filament, causes light, right? All that has to do with like effectively pressure differentials of electrons. So you have a charge, you have a negative charge and a positive charge. That just simply means one end has an excessive amount of electron charge, and the other end has a kind of a vacuum of electron charge, and the electrons want to flow to like find that equilibrium. So a battery is just like a transportable pocket version of that polarization that allows it to go through, using a lot of chemical interactions to effectively push electrons through a circuit, and that's what causes all the interaction. When an EMP goes off, it goes through the entire system of that network, and it effectively gives electrons to everything along the circuit, and it blocks the circuit because it's like, I'm trying to think of a good equivalent for this. All right, imagine you were trying to run around a track. I mean, I hate running, but like imagine you're trying to run laps around a track, you know? Maybe you're just, you know, keeping up your strength or whatever, but so imagine there's a struggle, there's a work you have to do to get around a track, right? But now imagine if you had to try and run that circle, but on that path, that narrow path, and say you couldn't leave that lane, like the single running lane, but in that lane was 1,000 other runners also trying to run that same path. Do you think you'd actually be able to do it? And if you could, do you think it'd be effective? Not at all. So if you take a circuit and you just jam it all full of electrons, current can't flow anymore. So effectively, it kills all electronics. And not just kills them, you have to reset them manually in a lot of ways. Like, you can't just jumpstart your car after that. Your car's been supercharged. If your electronic devices haven't been fried by the EMP wave and like shattered, because a lot of like microchips are too delicate for something like that to go through them, they'll effectively implode. Even if that didn't happen, you actually have to take out all the wiring. You have to take out all the copper, and you have to strip it of those electrons. You have to somehow like demagnetize it all. Like, I'm guessing you'd have to deglaze it with a magnet itself and kind of get like the excess electrons out, and you have to find somewhere to put them, like to get the flow going, and then you can have the circuit go back again. But essentially an EMP wave, if powerful enough, from what I understand, essentially makes you have to take all the wires out and replace them in order to get it back working again. So if something happened that set out effectively a planet-wide EMP, that is like the end of modern civilization. That's the end of human life as we know it in that regard. And then, and this is a real thing, like it doesn't even have to be like bombs can do it. Whatever happened here seems to have done it. That can happen from a solar mass projection. Like if you, like there was one that happened in the 1900s, like early 1900s, back when like we barely had electronic technology. But there were talks about how like people who were on telegram machines, you know, they had the listeners and they listened for like Morse code to travel through the lines. Like the lines like shocked them, like to the point where like some of them had to be hospitalized because a solar mass ejection hit the planet, and like it charged these very basic communication wires and like hurt people who were listening to them, like destroying a lot of these devices and making a lot of it had to be replaced. There were talks about like skyscrapers having arcing electricity that could hit people just because they were on the building when like this solar mass ejection came through. If that happened today, it would kill our satellites, it would kill our vehicles, it would kill our computers, and the internet would just cease to exist, and there is nothing we can do to prevent that. And these ejections happen. As a matter of fact, there was recently a big mass ejection that happened. It missed the Earth like most of them do, but one of these days it's not. And we're going to have to deal with that as a reality. So if this is the case, then this is something we should be taking note of, because it could become our future. A future that we might not be able to avoid in any way. Sorry for the ranting, but this is actually something I am genuinely kind of concerned about. I think if there's any apocalypse, this is actually the most likely. Followed shortly by nuclear like destruction, mutual like self-asserted destruction. Like I think a solar mass like deletion of our technology is the next most likely thing that could just put everything to a halt. Communications are steadily getting worse. No one's got any idea what's caused this phenomena, but it's killing our long-distance communication capabilities for good. That's the reason we're out of here, playing Lewis and Clark for giant robots. Okay. Why wouldn't they just go back to, I don't know, a base? To the United States or Australia or something? Like, I understand they might be trying to do something, but like, why haven't they like gone back if they can't communicate with anybody?
ウィルの言ってることは本当だよ。どのみち、中継機が信号を拾わなきゃ捜索は無理なのさ。
Right.
このだだっ広い海域に数機ポッチの戦術機じゃね。
Okay. So whatever's happened with Babylon has really messed things up. I'm guessing unforeseen consequences. Holy crap. This is really bad.
捜索は無理。
推進剤も無駄にはできないんだ。すまない。本当に。
I feel awful. God knows I don't want to be out there searching, but we just can't.
まずは船に戻るよ。話はそれからだ。いいね。
Fetch.
了解です。
I sure hope she does.
ナイブス1よりソルティベース。救命艇より生存者1名を確保。乗員は他になし。生存者は US マリーン第26海兵戦術機構軍所属リリア・シェルベリ少尉。若干の衰弱はあるがバイタルに問題なし。戦術機にて搬送可能。データ転送する。
ソルティベース了解。医療チームにデータを回しとく。詳細は帰投後に報告せよ。
Right.
ナイブス1了解。これより帰投する。さてと。ウィルバート・ D ・コリンズ少尉。
はっ。
シェルベリ少尉を貴様の機体に乗せて差し上げろ。
Okay, aren't you coming back too?
はっ。はっ。
Are you serious, Commander? You do realize what you're asking of me, right?
なんだウィル。何か文句でもあるのかい？
Right.
いえ、恐れながら我々のスーパーホーネットは単座であります。
Well, isn't yours?
それがどうした？
いや、だからシェルベリ少尉を運ぶのであれば、ハーネス固定で召喚の膝の上ということになりますが。
Okay, Will, you're the one making this weird.
その通りだな。それがどうした？
このようなケースは女性同士の方がよろしい。
却下する。
Why? This is sexual harassment.
隊長機のコックピットを塞ごうとはいい度胸じゃないか、コリンズ少尉。
俺は決してそのような。
This girl.
だいたい私は見ての通りでね。
I'm sad, but I'm sad to say she kind of has a point, honestly. Fitch.
ハーネスで人を乗せるにはちと窮屈なのさ。
It's just like I can't say anything to that. I'm done here. Once an idea's gotten in her head, Commander Darrells always sticks to her guns. Wish I could tell her what she's thinking, but I'd rather spare myself the headache. Guess I'd better suck it up and move things along.
OK、コリンズ少尉。上官の心優しい説明を理解した上で命令を復唱したまえ。
Oh, I'm sure she and I would get along great. Just great.
はい、マム。召喚の機体にてシェルベリ少尉を搬送します。
よろしい。さあ急ぐよ。日が暮れちまう。
She's right. Got no time to waste. I need to prepare myself mentally. Been thinking this from the beginning, but man, she's pretty cute. She'll be sitting on my lap. Nope. You especially need to keep yourself in check in that situation. Like, it's fine. You can respect. It's great. Man, I don't like how much I'm seeing myself in Will. Like, don't. She is cute though. Fetch. Mine doesn't got her. Me. This is a rescue operation. Nothing more. You really sound like me.
そんなわけでシェルベリ少尉立てますか？
I just want to see, like, can I... Nope, that just... Okay, yeah, spacebar is how I hide the text. That's good to know.
大丈夫。あ、ちょっと肩借りますね。
Right, of course. She's leaning more her weight on me than I expected. Lieutenant Gilbert may not have anything life-threatening injuries, but the exhaustion is clearly taking a toll on her. Anyway, let's get the fortified suit connected to my TSF ASAP.
ま、ウィルボーならあの子にもちょうどいい安定剤になるだろう。
She's obviously sick. What are you talking about? All right. Well, I kind of did a lot of talking, so I think we're actually going to go ahead and end it here. I mean, I feel a little bit like cheating you guys, but at the same time, this really is a good place for us to stop. And if I go too long, it's just going to be too much. And man, there's a lot to think about there. So I gave my my personal predictions, analyses. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Please, of course, respect no spoilers. I really would appreciate that. But yeah, I hopefully you guys have enjoyed this so far. Like, hook, line, and sinker, I'm in. I'm already super interested to figure out what the heck's going on here. Man, really sounds like they screwed the world up pretty good, huh? Well, hopefully they'll be able to find an answer here before too long, or at least we'll be able to get some kind of like response to what the heck's happening. But yeah, honestly, they really should be making for port. I don't understand why they haven't. I mean, especially if they're running low on fuel, like, get out of here, find a place that's safe, and figure out what the heck's going on with the rest of the world. If you feel like if they're as isolated as they're making it sound, that's really bad. Really, really bad. But we'll have to see. All right, but otherwise, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, it's a pleasure having each and every one of you. I look forward to starting another adventure with you. If you're interested in other stuff, I'm doing the House of Fata Morgana, Requiem for Innocence on Wednesdays. It's a sequel to a fantastic series of the House of Fata Morgana, which is really, really good. And then on Fridays, we are getting closer and closer to the end of Mamiya, which has been a fantastic series from a smaller developer, but really has been a beautiful story. A lot of great stuff to cover. So if you like visual novels in any way, and also there might be some sneaky little changes coming to the channel in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. But hopefully you'll stick around. And a special thank you to my patrons. You guys are wonderful for believing in me and directly wanting to support me in my dream and my desire to keep making the best content I can for you. Like, it means the world, so thank you so much. And if you're interested in Patreon and some of the perks they get, there's a link in the description down below. But frankly, you being here is more than enough. I am unworthy of your support, but thank you so much for giving it, regardless of how you do so. I hope you've enjoyed, and until next video watching me, I'll see you next. I'll see you there.